Welcome to the Cathedral of St. Peter in Belleville, Illinois, and welcome to With New Eyes. For the next 10 weeks or so, we're going to take just a 5-minute walk each week through this cathedral to see, to take a look at, to take in this cathedral. Whether you're here every Sunday for most of your lives, or if this is the first time you've ever seen the inside of this magnificent cathedral. For the whole cathedral is a classroom. It teaches us. But maybe the first thing we ought to learn is what a cathedral is not. A cathedral is not a cathedral because of its great size. It is not a cathedral because of its height or its width or depth. A cathedral is not a cathedral because of its stained glass windows or its great ceiling or its ornamentation. A cathedral is a cathedral because of one word, one ancient word that comes to us from the Latin, the word cathedra, which means chair. A cathedral is a cathedral because of this chair. It is the bishop's chair, this chair right in the sanctuary. Only the bishop sits here. Only the bishop presides from here. It is the seat of the bishop, a cathedral, all the way back to St. Peter. And more about that a little later. But a cathedra, a chair for the bishop who is a successor of the apostles, who has the fullness of holy orders. In some cathedrals, they're in the center. In most cathedrals, off to the side, most often here to the left of the congregation. This ancient cathedral chair, over 100 years old, is a masterwork of Gothic carving in dark walnut. This chair with the two angels you might notice to either side, from the powers of heaven, those who are to protect us in all our ways. It's green, you notice. That's because a bishop's color throughout the centuries has been green, even before we thought of bishops wearing purple or cardinals wearing red. Green was the color of the good shepherd who leads his flock through green pastures. Green is the color of a bishop. All of this comes to us from sacred scripture and from tradition. In the Old Testament, our Jewish brothers and sisters in each synagogue had a place where the chief teacher would sit. It was called the Moses chair. In the Old Testament, every synagogue had a Moses chair. And in the New Testament, from the Gospel according to St. Luke, remember when Jesus goes into his hometown synagogue in Nazareth. He is given the scripture reading to proclaim. He unrolls the scroll. He reads from the prophet Isaiah. He hands the scroll back to the attendant. The scripture says, then he was seated, and the eyes of all in the synagogue were looking intently at him. From the Old Testament to the New Testament, to the lives of the apostles and of their successors. Listen to this. Jesus Christ is priest, prophet, and king. All of us share in baptism, in his priesthood, in his prophetic ministry, in his kingly state. But bishops with the fullness of holy orders, from this chair, they sanctify, they lead prayer, they teach, for the bishop is the chief teacher of the diocese, and they govern. They govern from this chair of St. Peter's Cathedral all the way back to the chair of St. Peter himself. It's said that St. Peter's wooden chair, from which he sat and taught the people in Rome, has been encased in bronze and still is there in the Basilica of St. Peter in Rome. This chair goes back really more than just 100 years. It goes back to these bishops whose coats of arms hang here in the cathedral wall. From Bishop McGovern, the current bishop, Bishop Braxton, and Bishop Gregory, back to Bishop Calamer, back to Bishop Worm, back to Bishop Castro, back to Bishop Zurwest, back to Bishop Alton, all the way back to the first Bishop of Belleville, Bishop Jansen. So when you see this chair and you see these coats of arms, look back through the decades, but also through the centuries. Look all the way back to the apostles, and look back to Jesus Christ. My brothers and sisters, when you see this, look with new eyes on Jesus